Elias moved quietly through the empty halls of the research center. His mop squeaked softly on the polished floor as he cleaned, carrying his bucket with practiced ease. The fluorescent lights above flickered slightly, casting long shadows across the walls. Elias did not mind the quiet, he liked it. It allowed him to think. It allowed him to remember. Most people thought of Elias as nothing more than a janitor. He was polite, unassuming, and always kept to himself. He never joined the other workers for meals or gossip. No one really noticed him except when they needed something cleaned or fixed. To the world, he was invisible. But Elias was not ordinary. He had seen things that most humans could not even imagine. Years ago, he had been in the right place at the right time. He had saved someone very important, someone who had changed the fate of entire planets, but he never talked about it. He did not want praise. He did not want power. He wanted only to live quietly. And now, in his small home far from the city, Elias had a different kind of responsibility. 4 young children waited for him there. They were unusual not because of their appearance, they looked human, but because of their minds. Their curiosity, intelligence, and strength far surpassed normal children. They asked questions about the stars, about other worlds, about things no child should know. "Papa," said the eldest, a boy with bright green eyes, "why does the moon follow the earth everywhere?" Elias smiled as he set down his mop and bucket. "It doesn't really follow us," he said gently. "It just moves around the sun just like we do, but it seems like it is following us because we are moving too." The boy nodded thoughtfully, as if he understood more than the answer alone. Elias watched him and felt a quiet pride. Teaching these children was not easy, but it was worth every moment. In the kitchen, the other 3 children were sitting at the table. The twins, a boy and a girl, were building a small machine from parts Elias had collected from old devices. The youngest, a girl, was drawing maps of stars on paper. Elias went to her and knelt beside her. "Your map is very good," he said. "But remember, the stars are not flat like paper. They are far away and very bright." The girl looked up and smiled. "I know, Papa. I'm just trying to see them like we do from here." Elias laughed softly. "Then you are already learning to imagine the universe." That is very important. He had spent years raising these 4 children alone. The galaxy had forgotten them or thought they were lost, but Elias remembered. He remembered every detail, every promise he had made, every moment of care and attention. And the children had grown because of it. They were strong, kind, and intelligent. They were a reflection of everything good in humanity. Far beyond the small home, across the vast reaches of space, someone else remembered them too. The alien queen had never forgotten the humans who had helped her, and she had never forgotten her children, the 4 she had thought lost during the chaos of war. Her advisors had told her not to search. They warned that humans were unpredictable. They warned that it was dangerous to interfere, but the queen did not listen. She had a mother's instinct, a leader's curiosity, and a queen's courage. She traced every signal, every whisper of information, until she finally found what she had been searching for. Her ship appeared silently above Elias' world. It was enormous, a gleaming structure of light and metal, unlike anything humans had built. On board, the alien queen looked down at the planet and focused on the coordinates of Elias' small home. She took a deep breath, as if she were preparing herself for something she had both hoped for and feared. Meanwhile, Elias finished his work at the research center. He locked the doors, wiped his hands, and started the walk home. The streets were quiet at this hour, with only a few streetlights casting pale glows on the pavement. He felt a strange pull in his chest, a sense that something unusual was happening. He ignored it. He often felt strange things. That was part of life. When he arrived home, the children ran to greet him. "Papa, Papa," they cried, their voices full of excitement. Elias smiled and knelt to embrace them. "Hello, my stars," he said softly. "Did you finish your lessons today?" "Yes," said the eldest. And we practiced what you taught us about the stars. The twins held up the small machine they had built. Look, Papa, it moves on its own. Elias examined it carefully. It was crude but clever. The children had used gears and magnets in ways he had not thought of. Excellent work, he said. You are learning fast. The youngest ran to him, her small hand in his. Papa, do you think the stars are watching us? Elias hugged her tightly. I think they are, he said, and I think they are proud of you. As they settled down for dinner, a sudden shadow passed over the house. The children looked out the window and gasped. Above them, the enormous alien ship hovered silently, its lights shimmering. It was the kind of sight that would have terrified ordinary humans. But the children stared with awe. They had learned to see wonder in the universe. Elias stepped outside cautiously. His heart did not race, but his mind sharpened. He knew this ship. He had never imagined seeing it again, but he recognized it immediately. And he knew why it was here. The ship's doors opened and a figure descended. She was tall, regal, and unlike any human or alien Elias had ever seen. Her skin shimmered with a subtle glow and her eyes were deep and intelligent. The queen had arrived. Elias did not speak at first. He simply bowed his head, a gesture of respect and recognition. The children watched silently, sensing the importance of the moment. The queen stepped forward, her voice calm but commanding. Elias, she said, I have come for the children. They are mine. Elias looked up. They are yours by birth, he said, but they are mine by choice. The queen's eyes widened slightly. She had expected a challenge, perhaps even fear. She had expected the human to step aside or plead. But Elias' calm, unwavering gaze told her that he would not be intimidated. They are safe with me, he continued. I raised them. I taught them. They are learning the ways of this universe, not just the ways of a throne. The queen studied him carefully. She realized that this simple human had done something extraordinary. He had nurtured her children into beings of strength, intelligence, and character. He had shaped them without the power or influence of royalty. The children stepped forward, one by one. The eldest spoke first. Queen, we know who we are, but Elias is our father. He loves us, protects us, and teaches us. We do not leave him. The twins nodded. He helped us learn everything we know, said the boy twin, and we want to stay with him. The youngest, her small hand still in Elias, looked up with wide eyes. Papa is my guide, she said simply. I want to stay. The queen felt a mixture of shock, awe, and admiration. She had expected obedience, perhaps confusion, but not loyalty born of love. She realized that these children were extraordinary because of the human who had raised them. Elias smiled gently at the queen. They are strong, he said, and they are ready for the universe, but they will only go forward with hearts full of care, courage, and patience. That is what I have taught them. The queen took a deep breath. She realized that she had found something rare in the galaxy, a human who could teach not through power or command, but through guidance and love. She had expected heirs. Instead, she had found wisdom. The part ends with the queen standing silently, looking at the children, and understanding that her journey had just begun. She could not take them from Elias, not yet. She had to see what humanity had done in her absence. And she had to prepare for a choice she had never imagined, one that could change the fate of her children, her throne, and the galaxy itself. The quiet man, the janitor, had become something extraordinary. And the universe had just begun to notice. The alien queen stood silently outside the small human home. Her eyes, deep and knowing, traced the movements of the 4 children inside. They laughed and played, completely unaware of the enormous ship hovering above, completely unaware of the royalty that had arrived to reclaim them. Elias noticed her first. She had stepped down from her ship without guards, without weapons, without fanfare. Only her presence spoke of authority. Her appearance alone could have terrified ordinary humans, but Elias only bowed his head slightly. "Queen," he said calmly, "welcome." The queen studied him. He did not kneel fully, nor did he show fear. He spoke to her as an equal, yet with respect. She was unprepared for this. She had traveled across the galaxy expecting awe, perhaps defiance. She had not expected simple calm. "I am here for my children," she said. Her voice was soft, yet it carried weight. "I wish to take them home." Elias opened the door wider, gesturing for her to enter. "Then come in," he said. "You will see them for yourself." The children ran to the door, curious about the unusual visitor. Their eyes widened as they saw the queen, glowing faintly under the evening sky. The eldest boy stepped forward first. "Who are you?" he asked cautiously, his green eyes wide. The queen knelt slightly to meet him at eye level. "I am your mother," she said gently, "and I have come to bring you home." The children froze, looking at Elias for guidance. He knelt beside them, resting a hand on each of their shoulders. "They are your children," he said softly, "but you must understand they have grown with me. They have learned from me. They are ready to meet the universe, but only with love guiding them." The queen's eyes softened as she looked at the children. She could see it immediately. They were extraordinary, not only in their intelligence and strength, but in their hearts. Each child reflected the care and patience Elias had given them. He had shaped them into beings wise beyond their years. The eldest boy stepped closer to the queen. "We know who you are," he said, "but this is our home. We are safe here, and Elias is our guide." The queen blinked. She had not expected this. In her mind, she had prepared for resistance from humans, but she had not imagined this level of loyalty, respect, and love. The twins spoke together almost as if they had rehearsed it. "We will not leave him," the boy said. "We want to stay with him. He taught us everything important, how to be strong and kind." The youngest, a girl with curious eyes, tugged at Elias' hand. "Papa is my father," she said simply. "I love him. I stay with him." The queen remained silent, studying each child. She realized that Elias had done what no palace, no council, no teacher could have done. He had nurtured her children into beings of balance and wisdom. They were ready for the universe, but they were grounded in humanity, the quiet, steady, compassionate force that Elias embodied. Elias stood slowly, facing the queen. "You saved them once," he said. "I raised them now. They are strong, yes, but not by power. They are strong because they know love, respect, and care. That is why they will not leave me." The queen exhaled slowly. She realized something she had never considered. These children were more than heirs. They were a symbol of a new way. A way where strength was not only in armies or technology, but in patience, guidance, and quiet courage. For a moment, neither spoke. The children watched in silence. Then, with surprising clarity, the queen made her choice. "I came here to claim my children," she said softly. "But I see now that you have already shaped them. They are extraordinary. They will go forward into the universe with wisdom, not fear. I cannot take that from them." Elias inclined his head respectfully. "Then you see why they stay." The queen looked at each child individually, seeing the reflection of her own essence combined with Elias' humanity. She understood that they were ready to face the galaxy, not as pawns of a throne, but as beings capable of thought, care, and leadership. "Then I will not take them by force," she said, "but I wish to know them, I wish to guide them with you." Elias smiled faintly. "Then you will have to earn their trust as I did." The queen nodded. She stepped inside the modest home, marveling at its simplicity. It was not the palace halls she was used to. There were no golden decorations, no servants, no guards. Only warmth, laughter, and the quiet authority of a man who truly cared for those in his charge. The queen knelt and spoke to the youngest first. "I am your mother," she said gently. "I have traveled far to find you." The little girl looked at her, unsure. Then she glanced at Elias, and his steady gaze gave her courage. "I know," she said, "but Papa taught me to think. He taught me to choose. I choose to stay with him." The queen felt a wave of admiration. This was not obedience, it was choice. It was respect born of love. She had never seen anything like it. The eldest boy spoke next. "We know who you are. You are our mother, but Elias is the one who raised us, taught us, and protected us. We will listen to you, but we will not leave him behind." The queen nodded slowly, realizing the depth of her children's loyalty. "Then I will listen to you," she said. "I will learn from him. I will not command. I will guide." The twins, always practical, stepped forward with questions. "Why did you leave us?" the boy asked. "Why were we alone?" The queen's eyes softened. "I did not leave you," she said. "I was forced away. There were dangers I could not control, but I never forgot you. I searched for you, and now I have found you," the girl twin added. "Papa found us too. He kept us safe. He taught us everything we needed to know, and now we are strong because of him." The queen studied Elias. "You have done more than I could have imagined," she said. "You have raised my children into beings of wisdom and courage. You have my gratitude and my respect." Elias inclined his head. "I do not seek gratitude," he said. "I only seek to protect them and teach them well. That is enough." The queen smiled faintly. She realized that humanity had something the galaxy had often underestimated: quiet strength. The kind that did not need armies, wealth, or authority. The kind that shaped hearts and minds, creating beings capable of greatness. Outside, the alien ship waited silently. The council of her world would expect her to take the children, to return with them as proof of her power. But she had learned something more important. Power is not in taking, but in understanding, guiding, and nurturing. The children began to ask questions, curious about their mother and her world. Elias encouraged them. "Ask her," he said. "Learn, understand, decide what is right for you." The queen patiently answered, explaining the vastness of the galaxy, the responsibilities of leadership, and the importance of wisdom and empathy. The children listened intently, absorbing everything without fear. They had learned courage from Elias, and now they learned perspective from her. Hours passed. The sun began to set, casting long shadows over the small home. The queen finally stood, looking at Elias with a mixture of respect and awe. "You have done what no human could have been expected to do," she said. "You have shaped the heirs of a world without even trying to rule. You have created strength without power, and in doing so, you have taught me a lesson I will not forget." Elias nodded simply. "I only did what was right. That is all anyone can do." The queen took a deep breath and made a decision. She would return to her people, not with her children as trophies, but with a new understanding of humanity. She would work with Elias, learn from him, and perhaps, in time, create a future where humans and her species could stand together as equals. The children went to sleep that night with quiet satisfaction. They had met their mother, learned her story, and confirmed their loyalty to the man who had raised them. They felt strong, safe, and loved. They had learned that power was not about force. It was about guidance, care, and the courage to choose the right path. Outside, the queen watched over them, her heart filled with hope. She had discovered something extraordinary: a human who could shape the future not through command, but through love and wisdom. And she knew that the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The part ends with Elias and the queen standing together outside the small home. The night sky sparkled with stars, and the distant hum of the alien ship reminded them both that the universe was vast. But here, in this quiet place, humanity had proven its greatest strength: the power to nurture, protect, and shape the next generation. The galaxy would take notice, and it had already begun. The morning sun rose over the quiet human colony, painting the streets with golden light. Birds sang softly in the trees near Elias' home. Everything seemed peaceful, ordinary, and calm. Yet far above, the queen's massive ship hovered, a silent reminder that the galaxy had begun to notice humanity in ways it never had before. Inside the modest home, Elias was already awake, quietly preparing breakfast for the 4 children. They moved around the kitchen, helping and laughing, their energy uncontained. The previous night's visit from their mother, the alien queen, had left them thoughtful but calm. They had learned much, Yet the lessons of Elias remained central: love, care, courage, and patience. Elias looked out the window at the alien ship, now stationary but still imposing. He took a deep breath, knowing the day would bring more challenges. Today, the galaxy itself would witness something extraordinary. A human, a simple janitor standing not as a servant but as a guide, teacher, and equal to royalty. The queen entered the kitchen, her presence quiet but commanding. The children paused, curious but respectful. The eldest boy stepped forward. "Mother," he said, "you said you wanted to learn from Papa. Are you ready?" The queen smiled softly. "I am ready," she said. "I have traveled far, seen many worlds, and met many beings, but I have never met one like him." Elias shook his head. "I am not extraordinary," he said simply. "I only care for those in my charge. That is all anyone can do." The queen's eyes softened. She had expected humility, but she also saw quiet strength. She realized that humanity's power was subtle yet unmatched. It was the power to nurture, guide, and inspire, without demanding, without fear, without violence. After breakfast, the queen suggested a meeting with her council. She wanted to introduce Elias and the children, to show them that greatness could come from unexpected places. The children were nervous but curious. They had been raised by a human who valued thought and choice above all, but they had never faced an entire council of alien leaders. The journey to the council chamber was silent but full of tension. Elias walked calmly, guiding the children. The queen stayed close, showing that she trusted him and valued his presence. When they entered the grand hall, the council stared. Hundreds of representatives from dozens of worlds had gathered, and every eye turned toward the small human family. Some whispered, some scoffed. How could a janitor stand before rulers and advisors? How could a human without armies, without wealth, without technology command attention? Elias did not flinch. He stepped forward, bowing slightly in respect but not submission. The queen stood beside him, her hand lightly resting on his shoulder, a silent signal that she recognized his role as teacher and guardian. The eldest child spoke first. "Honored council," he said, "you see us here and you see him. Elias is our father. He is the one who raised us. He taught us courage, wisdom, and care. He showed us that strength is not in fear or power, but in guiding and protecting those we love." A murmur ran through the chamber. Some members leaned forward, curious. Others scowled, unwilling to accept such an unconventional idea. The twins spoke together. "He helped us think," said the boy twin. "He helped us understand the universe. He did not command, but he taught, and because of him, we are ready for the galaxy." The youngest girl stepped forward. "Papa is my guide," she said simply. "He helped us grow. He helped us choose what is right. That is why we stay with him." The council was silent. The words were simple, but the meaning was profound. Here were 4 children, heirs of a powerful alien queen, standing in front of the galaxy's leaders. And they were powerful not because of armies or titles, but because of a human who had taught them how to care. The queen spoke next. "You see before you my children," she said. "They are heirs to my throne, yes, but they are also a testament to something extraordinary, a human who shaped them without power, without command, and without fear. Elias has taught them more than any council, palace, or academy could. He has shown the galaxy what humanity truly is." Some council members whispered confused, others looked skeptical. One elder finally asked, "And this human expects no reward, no title, no recognition?" Elias smiled faintly. "I do not seek reward," he said. "I only seek to guide those entrusted to me. That is all anyone can do." The council fell silent. They had never seen anything like this. Power without demand, strength without force, wisdom without titles. Humanity, they realized, was unlike any species they had encountered. The queen continued, "These children have learned courage, respect, and empathy. They have learned to think for themselves and to make choices. They are not trained for war but for life, and they are stronger for it." The chamber erupted in discussion. Some argued that humans were simple, perhaps naive. Others recognized the truth. Elias had achieved what their academies, their libraries, and their armies could not. He had created leaders not through fear or force, but through guidance, patience, and care. A young council member stepped forward. "If what you say is true," he said to the queen, "then humanity is something we have underestimated. They do not need power to influence the galaxy. They only need to exist and to care." The queen nodded. "Exactly," she said. Elias has shown us that the greatest strength is often quiet. The smallest acts of care, the patience to teach, and the courage to love unconditionally, these are the forces that shape the future. Elias watched silently as the council processed these words. He did not speak of his past deeds or his encounters with war and danger. He did not need to. The actions he had taken, the lessons he had taught, and the love he had given were visible in the children standing beside him. The eldest boy stepped forward again. "We have learned from both our father and our mother," he said, "but we will continue to learn from Elias. He is the one who helped us grow into who we are today, and that is why we choose him." The queen's eyes filled with pride. She had found her children, yes, but she had also found the true meaning of leadership and power. She realized that the galaxy's respect for humans was not because of weapons, fleets, or conquest. It was because of their ability to inspire, guide, and nurture. The council deliberated for hours, discussing the implications of what they had seen. Finally, the elder who had first spoken turned to the queen. "You have shown us something extraordinary," he said. "A human has shaped heirs of a throne without claiming power." "This changes everything we thought we knew," the queen nodded. "It changes the galaxy," she said, "and it begins here with Elias and these children." Outside, the sun was high in the sky. The children played in the garden, watched carefully by Elias and the queen. They laughed, ran, and explored, their joy simple and unrestrained. The queen observed them with a sense of wonder and relief. They were growing up strong, thoughtful, and kind. She turned to Elias. "You have done more than you realize," she said softly. "You have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of, not through armies, not through power, but through care and guidance." Elias smiled faintly. "I only did what was right," he said. "Anyone could do the same if they chose to." The queen nodded, understanding fully. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long. It was not weapons or technology that made them strong. It was the quiet courage to care, the patience to teach, and the love to protect. As the day ended, the queen returned to her ship, but not to leave. She would travel with them, learn from them, and help guide the children. She would show the galaxy that humans, even those unseen and ordinary, could shape the course of worlds. The children watched her leave, but they did not feel fear. They had learned from Elias. They had learned courage, wisdom, and care. They were ready to face the universe, not as pawns of power, but as beings of choice and strength. The council, back on their distant worlds, began to speak of humanity differently. They had underestimated humans before, yes, but now they understood. Humans could teach, humans could guide, humans could inspire, and sometimes a single quiet human could change the course of the galaxy itself. Elias returned home with the children, his life unchanged in its simplicity. He cleaned, cooked, taught, and guided as he had always done. But the universe now looked at him differently. The quiet janitor had become a symbol of something extraordinary, a symbol of the human spirit. The alien queen often visited, sitting quietly beside him as he guided the children. Together, they laughed, taught, and explored. Together, they shaped a future built not on fear or domination, but on care, wisdom, and courage. And far across the galaxy, leaders began to whisper about the human janitor, about how one simple man had raised heirs of a queen into beings of extraordinary strength and wisdom, about how humans, unnoticed and underestimated, could change the galaxy, not with weapons, but with hearts that dared to guide, protect, and love. The story ends with the quiet home under the stars, a small human family at peace, watched by a queen who had rediscovered hope. And the galaxy, vast and endless, had begun to see humanity for the first time as what it truly was, a force of courage, wisdom, and quiet power that no one could ignore.